Hello and welcome to Downtime Podcast episode 144. Today I have a very, very, very special guest, Twitch streamer, DJ B. Welcome, DJ B.
What's up? How's it going, bro?
Going well. Going well. How are you? Today the air quality in the Bay Area seems to be a lot better.
Yeah, it's surprising. I'm worried about it becoming, because fires tend to happen a lot, on this time of year. Here in California, it seems like it's kind of a routine now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like last year.
Oh yeah, it's now like a yearly thing since 2017, I think.
Oh gosh, has it been like that?
Yeah.
So
I bought an air purifier the year after because I knew that there were going to be fires again for some reason, and I bought it, and I was like, okay, I think this is a good investment. Turned out it's been a really good investment because they happen every year.
Yeah, definitely. I have one running almost all the time in my apartment.
No, same. Honestly, I even have it when it's not outside, like when it's not smoky outside, because I think it's just beneficial to have a nice clean apartment, just air quality wise. You want to come into a place that you can breathe easy.
Yeah, do you have air conditioning?
No, so because I live in
Neither do I.
Yeah, I think it might be just a Bay Area thing because, well, especially for San Francisco, from what I noticed, a lot of houses don't have it because it's so cold here most of the time. So they're like, we don't need you guys to have air conditioning because it's so cold. But
Sure.
we do need it sometimes. It does get hot.
Yeah.
The house.
Well, because sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say that the house I'm in was built in 1929, so I think that's one of the reasons why there isn't any modern air conditioning.
Yeah, I think for my place, I don't know how old it is, but I just know that when the fires were going on and it was so hot, maybe 2 weeks ago, and there was no air conditioning and we couldn't keep the windows open, which is usually what keeps us cool. And so we were just kind of baking inside, and I had to do a few streams on Twitch. And it's the worst when you're streaming and you're just dripping beads of sweat, but you're so uncomfortable, but you can't do anything about it.
Oh man,
So
yeah, that was are you talking about a recent experience?
yeah, and what was it, 2 weeks ago, where the fires were still going on and it was really ashy, and I had to keep the windows closed while I was streaming, and I turned the fans off because I don't want that to come in on the microphone audio. So
oh yeah.
So yeah, I was just kind of baking in my apartment at 80 something degrees.
Dude, no, I feel you. I wasn't doing anything extensive in my house, and I was just sitting playing Breath of the Wild, and I was still baking, and I'm like, what's going on? All my windows are closed. I need a fan. Yeah, it's I'm just happy now that it's clear. I'm not choking on smoke. I can actually go outside and grab groceries as opposed to just waiting it out, because there was a time a couple weeks ago when I was like, okay, it's going to get better tomorrow. It would always get worse and worse and worse until I was like, all right, I think I'm just going to have to wait, because I was ordering food almost every day, and I wanted to cook. I missed cooking at that point.
That's something I actually picked up.
Oh yeah?
Cooking. We're going on 6 months of quarantine lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
It's been an interesting year. You know what I'm saying? But that's definitely something that I've picked up since I'm the kind of person that likes to go out and try different foods at different restaurants, but kind of had to adjust that, and I've been cooking a little bit more than I used to, which is. And when I used to, I didn't actually cook that much at all. So yeah.
What are you cooking now? Tell me.
My wifey and I, we've been ordering HelloFresh. So those come in it's one of those things where you order and then they'll deliver the ingredients and everything that you need, the protein and all that stuff in the box. And then you order maybe 2 or 3 meals a week. At least that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And they just it's cool because it's fresh ingredients, and they tell you exactly. They give you all the ingredients that you need. They tell you step by step how to make it, and and that's something I appreciate from someone who doesn't really have a lot of cooking experience. It's simple and it's easy to follow, and it comes out pretty well. At least I think so.
Oh, cool. Like, is it like what is it? There's another service like that. I think it was something kitchen.
Oh God. Blue Apron.
Blue Apron. There we go.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried that?
I haven't. No, I've only tried HelloFresh so far, but I know there's a lot of them.
How would you rate Fresh out of 10? 10 being the highest.
I would say 8 actually.
Oh wow.
8 out of 10. Yeah.
That's not like an IGN score, right? Like that's a genuine 8 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah, user Metacritic score.
Okay. I that sounds pretty good. I think I might try that one day. That sounds awesome.
Do it.
Dope, man. Dope. Glad you're doing well. Glad you're surviving through the smoke and through this crazy pandemic that we have going on.
You too, man.
But we should get right into some of the gaming stuff. So to kick it off, tell me and the listeners what you're playing. What are you playing? I know you're a big Valorant guy because I see you playing it on Twitch a lot. But tell me about that. What else are you playing?
Well, Valorant, yes. That was a game that I didn't even think I would like. I was really big into Overwatch at one point, and there was a point, I don't know if you've ever had that experience where you've played a game and you believed you'd play that game for the rest of your life. I felt that way about Overwatch, but unfortunately, like the toxicity kind of killed it for me. And the way that the game lends to toxicity, I think, because there's a lot of people on Overwatch that they can climb in like the ranks, but they may not necessarily still properly understand the game. At least that's how I feel regarding Overwatch. So that's what killed it for me. And then I saw Valorant and I was like, you know what? Even though visually it looks like a poor man's version of Overwatch, I picked it up. I played it because a lot of my friends on Twitch were playing it, and I actually loved it. Something I could wrap my head around, and it felt a little more competitive in that sense, where you can't really climb unless you properly understand the game. So yeah, Valorant is a game that I really have been enjoying lately. We played Among Us, not what was it, last Friday?
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I have also been playing The Last of Us 2. I'm on my first playthrough, so please no spoilers.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
My host and I, we were gonna do a spoiler cast, so I'm glad that we haven't done it yet. It's still kind of fresh in my mind, and I was watching some of your stream. Man, yeah, it's okay. It's good. I mean, I don't know what you think right now, but it's gonna get.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm absorbing every minute of it. Honestly, I know that I've thankfully been able to stay relatively spoiler free on it. And even like when I was streaming it just last night, I was scared to do so because I didn't want any trolls coming in and just being like, so and so dies,
Oh,
But
yeah. My God.
But yeah, I've been okay so far. I've really just been enjoying like the visual details, the music, just the design, the way, the nuances of the design of the game. Like, never mind, I know everyone's like they got their panties in a twist over the story. I'm not really paying attention to that too much yet. I'll probably assess that once I'm done with the game, but for now I just kind of want to take in every aspect that I enjoy about the game and just kind of appreciate it for what it is.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was also in the same boat. I did my best to avoid spoilers. I don't think it was that hard either because I just would not look at, I wouldn't look at Reddit in the specific threads. I wouldn't look on Twitter at the specific, like hashtag tweets that are for The Last of Us. I tried to avoid all that as much as possible, and it worked because I went into the game pretty much blind. I didn't really watch too many trailers. I watched that one like PlayStation I keep forgetting the name of it, but like they did like a whole like featurette on kind of the making of the game, but also an introductory and a little like insight into one of the levels, like a playthrough. Um, I, like you, went into it just like thinking, okay, this is just gonna be one of those games. I did know about like all the hate for the story, and
Right.
when I started playing it, and then after I finished the game, I I understood it, but at the same time, I didn't care because I had a good time. So I don't know what your feelings will be once you finish it, but I'm happy to hear that you're enjoying it so far because it is a pretty solid game gameplay wise.
Well, one thing I've been asking people that come into my streams when I'm playing Last of Us 2 is how, which game, if you've beat it, like which game do you prefer, or which game did you like better, Last of Us 1 or Last of Us 2?
Are you asking me like I did play both and beat both? Are you asking like story wise or like everything overall for both?
I think, yeah, let's say everything overall.
Um, oh man, I despite everything I just told you, I do like the first one more than the second one, mainly because I felt like the second one wasn't needed. The first one had a lot of really good things, and it had like a really like timeless story, and I think didn't need a sequel. Much like a lot of Pixar movies, when you watch them, you're like, oh wow, this is great. It wrapped up the ending perfectly. Albeit, the ending of the first game wasn't perfect, but I felt like they didn't need to continue it. I felt like they could have left it open ended, but at the same time, they're a company and money, video games are a business still at the end of the day, despite, everyone's creative and artistic endeavors that happen within that industry. So,
Yeah.
I mean, a sequel was inevitable and it happened. So there it is. But I'm still going to say I liked the first game a lot more gameplay and story wise as opposed to the second one. Not to say that the second one isn't like bad, but it's also not perfect. It's a really entertaining game overall, and I think it plays really well, gameplay wise.
Yeah, I actually kind of have been already getting those vibes. I appreciate like how faithful the second one is so far. Like it's hitting a lot of the tones that I remember from the first game. I as soon as I jumped into the second game, like I already started like remembering a lot of the scenes from the first game because it just felt so similar, and I appreciate all that, but like you, I felt as though like the open ending of the first game was actually in a lot of ways like just that was a great place to put it, to leave it at. It's up to you to figure out and decide what happens to them afterwards. You know what I'm saying? But still, I'm enjoying the fact that I can jump back into that world of The Last of Us, even though I am a little bit of a germaphobe. And so seeing these infection, like fungal infested creatures just coming at me is just one of my worst nightmares. But
oh man, if you feel that way, there's gonna be some parts later on where you're just gonna cringe because there's a part where it's just everywhere, and you're like, I don't know what to do, because that's how I felt. I was like, oh my god, everything is everywhere. Like all these fungi are everywhere, and I don't know what to. Yeah,
oh, no.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, you just gotta mentally prepare yourself. Like there'll be kind of a cue, kind of a warning and dialogue between the characters, and you're just like, fuck, I know what I have to do. I have to go there. I have to go in there, but you'll get to that point. I hope that you get through it.
Yeah, me too.
I think you'll be fine. But I'm happy to hear you're enjoying it. When's the next time you're going to be playing it on stream?
I'd like to probably play it. I've been playing it fairly low key and late at night because part of the reason for doing that is because I was trying to avoid like too many people coming through. I didn't want any I know it's weird for a Twitch streamer to say like I don't want that many people to come through.
Yeah.
But for a game like that, like I just kind of want to enjoy the experience, and not get any spoilers and not get any trolls. But I probably will play it like I don't know, maybe the other night. I usually stream on Mondays, and Fridays, and occasionally on weekends. So any other times that I stream, it's usually just kind of like a bonus stream, and I'll just post about I'm going live in half an hour with this such and such game. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. I remember seeing the first part of your stream was like at 1:30 in the morning. I was like, whoa, wait, what? Did I read that correctly? And then the next part of your stream was at like 4 a.m. I was like, wow, I think I missed that part for sure. But yeah, no, I understand because you don't want people to just come in there and be like, hey, guess what happens? I know you touched on that in the beginning, but you're like, yeah, you kind of miss that like 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. crowd that's just like, hey, I'm looking for something to watch on Twitch. This guy's playing The Last of Us. Why don't I just ruin his day? You know?
Sure. But you know, the beauty about Twitch is that like what may be like 4 a.m. for us is kind of like prime time for say people in the oceanic region. And so I used to actually, when I first started streaming on Twitch, I streamed late at night. And so a lot of my community became people from New Zealand, Australia. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's really, really cool. And I have caught quite a few of your streams, and yeah, you know a lot of the people in there, not just personally, but like, you know, from the audience that watches you. And that's really cool that you can connect to people from around the world with what you do.
Yeah. It's probably one of the better things about Twitch, and it's something that I'm very thankful about, considering that we all have to social distance these days, and I can't really see a lot of my close friends that I'm used to seeing in person. And so I've actually gotten, I think like my closer friends right now are my Twitch friends.
Dude, I feel it.
Yeah,
one of my friends, Nikki, she goes by Squeaky on Twitch. She actually connected with someone like from her high school days that was watching her on Twitch, and she's like, oh wow, I think I know you. And then
wow.
Yeah, now he's like a regular viewer of her. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I it's something that like I learned from just doing Twitch. It's just one of those things where it's like it felt a lot more like a social media type platform in some ways, streaming on Twitch rather than, you know, an actual like YouTube, for example. Like it's just some content creators just making content. Like, yeah, there's that aspect of Twitch, but there's still the aspect of like going to somebody's Twitch stream is kind of like going to someone's timeline and seeing what they've been up to. You know, that's something that I learned just by doing Twitch.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. That's a good point. Yeah. Dope, man. I do want to talk more Twitch stuff with you, but I kind of want to save that for later.
Sure.
So aside from Valorant and The Last of Us Part 2, what else do you have on your plate? What else is going on?
I've recently started doing music streams, and so that's something that I've been having a lot of fun with. But as far as just games and just gaming, like things that I haven't really been streaming, I've been playing Remnant from the Ashes, which, you know, was free on Epic Games like last month, I think. So I've just been playing that with some friends, and that's pretty fun. If you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic type thing, steampunk type game, and it's got like RPG elements where you level up your weapons and your you have skill trees and things like that, and you're grinding for some gear here and there, but it's not like too much of a grind. Like it's not like Destiny where you have to, you know, farm bosses for drops to increase your light level. But
right.
But yeah, it's been fun. It's like a co-op, like I think 3 people can squad up and take on a dungeon. You know, that's been pretty fun. And of course, I also play like GTA 5, just, you know, here and there on the side, just for kicks, because everyone knows GTA.
Oh yeah. So I would go back to GTA sometimes just to drive the cars around. Or like just to like shoot people. I don't know, like just to vent out my frustrations.
Yeah, my character, I made him to be a sleazy Filipino uncle, And so
Oh wow.
he has the gold chains and the gold watch, and like he shows a lot of chest hair, and he has a low rider.
Oh my god, that's awesome. That's so
And
cool.
also and I have a van, like one of those what do you, streamliner type vans, and and it's got hydraulics on it. It's just pretty hilarious. I know a lot of people like those super fast speedster cars on GTA, but I think I just went all in on like my characters, or my character's character on GTA. I was like, okay, this guy's a sleazy Filipino uncle. He's going to live in like this middle class apartment, have some gaudy looking cars and stuff. It's been pretty fun.
That's awesome. You're committed to the role. I really like that.
Exactly.
Have you ever thought about joining like one of those like GTA RP servers?
Oh man, I get tempted from time to time, but I don't know if I could constantly keep up the accent. If I was gonna be a Filipino uncle, like
No, yeah, and then you have to like play it like almost every day, and that can get like really taxing,
Yeah, yeah.
I get it. Yeah, after a while you might break character. You're like, I can't do this.
Yeah. I just want to breathe for a minute, guys.
Yeah, you're just like, I gotta take a breather. I gotta go sit down. I thought about it too, and I was like, like I don't know how good my acting skills are as far as like committing to one kind of character, but I don't think I'd be able to do it as well.
I know some people on Twitch though that be killing it in the RP GTA scene,
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. Mad props to them. That takes a lot of work.
right.
I for my online character, I don't really have a specific role, but I do, like you mentioned how a lot of people like to collect like the fast supercars. I like the older 90s cars that are featured in the
Oh
game.
yeah.
So I have a lot of like those Fast and Furious inspired cars. Just because like I don't know, they look cool. I've always been a fan of like the those 90s rice rockets, so I have a few of them in my garage. Cuz why not?
Yeah, I mean that's the era that we grew up in, right? Those were the cars that were fly back in the day.
Oh yeah, and I couldn't have them then, but I can have them virtually.
Yeah.
They're also like super cheap in the game because like no one really buys them, and no one really, they're like supposed to be just starter cars. So I'm just like, all right, cool. If I want to fill my garage, I'm gonna fill it with these.
Yeah, it's funny because I was playing with some friends the other day, and like we all met up in like the middle of the map, and they all rolled up in their super like tricked out like rice rocket cars or whatever speedster cars, and I come rolling in on like this Vespa, like this little moped thing that I tricked out, and they were all envious hilariously, like, and I was like, guys, it's only like $5,000 in the online store. I mean, in-game currency.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Not. Oh my god.
Which is nothing in GTA. You can toss that. You can wipe your butt with that one in GTA. So we all just got a bunch of those, and we were just rolling around the map, Los Santos.
Yeah, dude, I love that. Like, I hate it when people just like drive around and start shooting you. I'm like, okay, I get that it's GTA, but like, come on, man. Like, there's more to this game than just that. Like, we could all have fun. And this is supposed to be an open world, like living, breathing world, and you're kind of just like ruining it.
Yeah, and then when you die, it's like you can't let it go. You have to like try to hunt this guy down and kill him, and then you can log off.
Yo, no, I've done that so many times. Not even joking. Like my friend and I were just like testing the game out recently, and he's like, "Yeah, I just bought it. I just want to like see what's up." So we're just driving around. We didn't turn passive mode on because we just wanted the full experience. And then like he died, and he's like, "Okay, we got to kill that guy." I'm like, "Yep." And he kills me, and he's like, "Yep, we really got to kill that guy." So we found him. We just kept shooting rockets at his armored car, and then it finally exploded, and then we were like, okay, let's move to a different server. Like this is
nice, got the revenge.
Yeah, we just need that validation, that justification, and then we were like, all right, we can move on. Dope, dude. So it sounds like you got a full plate. Any other games that you're on right now?
I mean, I know that I have purchased the Avengers game. I just know that like because I'm playing all these other games, I don't want to dive into it because I know that one's a grind as well. I'm looking forward to getting into it, but It's something that I think I want to beat Last of Us 2 before I dive into Avengers.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think you might need something happy after you finish it, because The Last of Us is
No spoilers, no spoilers.
it's just not. Oh, no. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. It's just
Okay.
I mean, you kind of already can tell that it's like going in a certain
There's
direction.
not a happy ending.
Yeah, it's just no, I wouldn't say that it's not a happy ending. I would say that it's just not happy in general. Like, you can kind of feel that already from playing the game. Like,
yeah, sure. The tone and the just the world itself. I mean, even if there is that quote unquote happy ending, it's still a messed up world,
oh, absolutely.
like the world that they have to live in. So,
And everyone talks like this for some reason. low voices. But yeah, I mean, I feel like after that game, you definitely need to like play the Avengers. In my case, and if you haven't played it yet, I played Ghost of Tsushima after I finished The Last of Us, and Ghost of Tsushima isn't a happy game either, but you do feel better playing that game because you feel like you're doing a lot more things, and you feel like you're like a hero in a sense. Like, I recommend that game to you because I don't know if you've heard too much about it, but it's like an open world game where you're a samurai slash ninja.
yeah, I've watched a few people stream it, and I do like the art style, and the combat looks really fun and everything. And I am a fan of like samurai era type stuff. It's just one of those games also where I know it's a big commitment as a single player campaign, and so I try to avoid like digital hoarding, as they say, where as soon as a game drops, you just want to get it, and then it just sits in your on your hard drive because you just don't really have the time commitment or the mental capacity to like split your attention to multiple different campaign type games. So yeah, I'll get it eventually, and hopefully when I'm ready for it, it'll be on sale.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like, this is Ghost of Tsushima. You can't really spoil the game. People that play it, I feel like, aren't gonna like go online and try to spoil it for you in their chat or in your chat. Sorry,
Sure.
because it's definitely one of those games that, like you just said, is inspired by samurai genre, the samurai movie genre, as well as like samurai literature and what have you. So when you do get the chance to play it, I know you'll love it. I honestly could not put that game down after I started playing it. Like, that's the only thing I thought about, and that's like the only game I played until I beat it. And I do have to say too, that game is very easy to platinum, surprisingly.
Ooh, okay, that's always a good plus.
Yeah. So
Also, are you a trophy hunter?
not too much. I've only platinumed 2 games. One recently, as I just mentioned, was Ghost of Tsushima, and the other one was Sleeping Dogs Remastered.
Oh, nice. I love that game, man.
Oh my god, I'm so happy. Oh my god. I haven't met too many people that have played it, or at least played it and loved it, and I really, really like that game.
Yeah, no, because I was on like this whole like I was watching a lot of Asian dramas around the time Sleeping Dogs came out.
Oh my god, me too. Oh my god.
So I was like, this is exactly what I want to play.
Yo, no, me too. And to top it off, the main character Wei Shen, he's from San Francisco, which is even cooler.
Yeah.
So when I bought that game, I was totally inspired from what I was watching as well, and I was like, I gotta play this, and I fucking loved every minute of it.
Yeah. Well, if you are looking for easy platinums, the Telltale games.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's nothing really you have to do other than just beat the game and you get a platinum. So
Oh my god.
so there's a tip for you guys if you're trophy hunters.
There you
Play
go.
the Telltale games, you'll get like 5 platinums.
Okay, I'm gonna look into it. I have one of them, Tales from the Borderlands, and I haven't really started it.
Yeah, rest in peace to that company.
Oh.
It's too bad,
I know, right? There's just so much mishandled, like, politics going on within that company. It's insane.
Sure.
All right, on my end, I'm playing Dead by Daylight. I'm sure I've talked about this with you before, and you're probably kind of familiar with it. It's asymmetrical horror game where there's 5 players. One of them's the killer, 4 of them are the survivors. They have to do objectives to escape, and the killer just has to kill all the survivors to win. It's So for me, you mentioned when we started this podcast that you had a game like Overwatch that you felt like you were going to play forever, right?
Yeah.
So I've been playing Dead by Daylight for a year, and that's how I feel about the game. I feel like I'm going to play this for a long time, and I've said that
Nice.
numerous times on this podcast, and I've still stuck to that. I'm still kind of sticking to that word because it's a game that I enjoy playing still. Don't get me wrong. I love this game, but I also love to hate this game. There's a lot of issues.
Oh, that's how it is, man. That's how it is.
Yeah, and
I felt the same way with Overwatch.
oh yeah, you mentioned toxic community. Definitely Dead by Daylight has that. And at one point earlier this year, being stuck inside, being in quarantine, that was getting to me, but also like all the people that we were facing like in the post-game chat were just being so toxic. I was like, I don't know if I can play this for a little, like I need to take a break. So I took like a little bit of a break from the game, like a couple days, and then I came back feeling better and refreshed. Luckily, I have a very supportive team that I play with. There's 4 of us that are consistently, enjoying the game. 2 of them have over 1,000 hours playing it. Another one of our teammates started when I played the game, so he and I have seen a lot of the changes, parallel to what we're playing now. But the other 2 that are veterans in the game, they've definitely seen a lot more changes, and they're kind of frustrated with it. It's interesting because this is a game that has changed so much that things were so different back when I started playing it, and now I look back and I'm like, wow, this game is kind of not totally different, but like mechanically a lot of the perks, a lot of the items that you use are totally different. And I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't know if it's a good thing necessarily, like that I still feel like I want to keep playing this game because I know that it's becoming trash, but I still love the trash. Does that make sense?
Sure, of course. Do you ever play the monster?
Yeah, I have a couple times. I like to play Ghostface and not Jason. What's his face from the Halloween movies? Michael Myers. I like playing sneaky characters, so those are the 2 that I like playing as. I'm not very good as the killer, but I'm more of a survivor type of player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's always going to be a game that I think I'll play for the foreseeable future. It's mainly fueled by the friends that I play with because they're so supportive and they're so into the game. Like maybe not as much as they used to be, but like I think more than me still, which is a good thing,
Sure.
That's how like my brother felt about Destiny for a little bit. He's like super into Destiny too, and yeah, he was like, I really like this game, but he like plays with a really good group of people, and that's what makes him keep going back to the game despite the game, like despite getting to a point where you feel comfortable, like maybe I can move on to something else. He still goes back because his friends are like, hey, let's do a raid, or hey, let's do this. That's kind of how I feel about Dead by Daylight. It's like, oh, you guys want to play? All right, cool. We'll play that.
Yeah, and I think like for me, Overwatch is always going to be there. I'll probably get back on it when Overwatch 2 comes out, and I'll probably have a lot of fun with that. And I know that like if a bunch of friends of mine were like, "Yo, let's fire up Overwatch and start playing Overwatch again," I'd probably do it right away, So, I mean, even though it's been months since I've last played Overwatch, I probably will jump back into it again. It's really all a matter of just like, just playing with your friends and having some people that, enjoy it as well. So,
Yeah. There's that camaraderie, you're building that kinship. I think that's really important when you're playing a game. Aside from Dead by Daylight, I've been playing Animal Crossing, but I've been kind of backing off from playing too much of it. I kind of play just like 10 minutes a day, and then I just stop because I'm at a point now where I'm like really comfortable with the game. I fleshed out my town, my island. I'm happy with the villagers I have. I'm happy with how my house looks, how my island looks. So I kind of just like do my daily things, and then I just turn it off. Are you playing Animal Crossing?
No, I have not played Animal Crossing. I did buy it for my wifey, and she enjoyed it for a good period of time. She hasn't really been playing it much lately, but I do like enjoy seeing her play because she's not much of a gamer. She never really played video games growing up.
Yes. Okay.
But it's something that she really enjoyed playing. And I also appreciate the fact that like even my nephew, who's 5 years old, loves the game. That's all he wants to do. If he's not playing Animal Crossing, like he wants to like watch videos about Animal Crossing on on YouTube or something on his iPad. But it's because he's also obsessed with bugs.
Oh.
That's his interest. So he likes just catching all the bugs and like going to what is it, the museum where Blathers is, and just like seeing all the bugs that he's caught and stuff. So
That's cool. That's really wholesome. I like that.
It's a great game, honestly. I probably would have a lot of fun if I dove into it, but again, it's also like, do I really want to commit all of this attention to that one game? Because I know I'm gonna want to play it a lot, So
Yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely felt that way when I got it. I got it at launch. And I have been playing it almost every day since then. So I did get in. There was a point where I got really invested into it. My workplace also had a Slack channel dedicated to just Animal Crossing, and there was like, I don't know, like
Wow.
30 people playing it all at once at its peak. And so whenever someone had like a really high turnip price, we would all go to that person's island and just sell our turnips, and all of us would be millionaires. So that
Nice.
yeah, there was a really good community behind it, but that has since died down to the point where that channel is now like inactive on our work Slack, and no one really talks about the game. I myself have kind of regressed to just like not really visiting other people's islands and not really like doing anything like teamwork wise. I feel like my island is so completed, so like full, that I don't know. The only thing left I have to do is like catch all the bugs, catch all the fish, catch all the deep sea creatures, and then I'll call it a day. But like, yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I felt like I've been playing this game for a lot longer than it's been out. But it had a high point and then it just kind of fell off.
Well, as games tend to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not to say that Animal Crossing around the world has kind of like dropped. It's still selling and it's still popular.
Sure.
It just, from my worldview perspective, I'm just like, yeah, it's my time to just kind of slow down and play other games, because Animal Crossing did take up a lot of my time. Not to mention a lot of anxiety, because I was like trying to figure out if I had high turnip prices that day so I could share it with my coworkers. And then I told people like, I'm going to retire from the turnip business, and I finally did retire. So
kind of sounds like life, right? It's like you want to get successful, you have to build a network and get to know people, and so you can sell your turnips and all
yeah, no, totally.
I'll be successful together.
Right? Yeah. And if only real life had if only we can turn our bells into real life money, then I could really be a millionaire. Oh my god. So after I started declining on Animal Crossing, I bought Breath of the Wild. I played it on a friend's Switch, like back when the Switch first came out. My friend Jairus, actually, he's a frequent podcast guest as well. He came over to my place, brought his Switch, and just like showed me what it was all about. Let me just play the first 2 hours of Breath of the Wild. And that was dope. I mean, I've always wanted to play that game, but I never owned it since the Switch first came out. And then I got a Switch in 2018, and I only got Mario Kart, and I wanted to get more games, and Breath of the Wild was kind of always in the back of my mind. But I kind of pulled the trigger this year because, well, I'd say mainly because I finished Ghost of Tsushima, and I really wanted to play another open world game. Sorry, Horizon Zero Dawn. That is still something that's on my docket as well. I have it. I just haven't finished it. I've only played the first 20 minutes of it. But Breath of the Wild is, I love Zelda. I love the music, and I couldn't say no to playing that game and finally jumping on it. I feel like I started playing it at a good time because I think earlier last year they mentioned that the sequel's coming out, and then a week or two ago it was announced that a prequel to Breath of the Wild is coming out from Koei Tecmo, which is like their warrior style game. It's basically called like Zelda Age of Calamity, and it's imagine like Dynasty Warriors with the Zelda characters, but
I love Dynasty Warriors.
yeah, I know, me too. And I want to get Hyrule Warriors, which is like Zelda with it's Dynasty Warriors with Zelda characters, but Age of Calamity it takes place 100 years before Breath of the Wild, but it's like it's official canon, whereas Hyrule Warriors is not. Age of Calamity is a Dynasty Warriors type game, but with Zelda characters from Breath of the Wild, which sounds so fucking cool.
Yeah, wow. Do you know if it has couch co-op?
Hyrule Warriors does.
Okay.
I expect the sequel to as well, because I know that Dynasty Warriors is canonically known to have it, because I played that a lot with my brother.
What was your favorite Dynasty Warriors game?
4. I'm gonna say Dynasty Warriors 4.
Oh my god, nice. That's mine too.
Oh wait, really?
I love that one. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. I bet you if there was like a completion counter on 4, I would probably be up there, maybe like 90% or something like that.
Yo, same. Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite character?
Oh, I mean, in 4, or are you talking about of all time?
Oh,
I mean,
just in 4.
In just 4, I guess I would probably have to say Ma Chao. I mean, he's a little OP, especially when he's just on his horse.
Oh, dude.
But I mean, my favorite character throughout all of them is always going to be, and pardon my pronunciation because, you know, I don't speak Chinese, but Zhuge Liang.
Oh, yes.
You know, the strategist for the Shu Kingdom. Oh my god, forgot for a second. But yeah, no, I just love the fact that he's just got a war fan and he can shoot lasers and he's smart as hell.
Yeah,
know?
He's a master war
character.
tactician. Oh yeah. I was a fan of Zhou Tai. I think that's how you say it.
Oh
or
yeah,
Zhou Tai.
yeah, the guy with the katana.
Yeah, the pirate dude.
Samurai sword.
Oh yeah. And then my brother was into the guy with the tonfas. I forget his name.
Sun Ce, I think is.
Yo, yes.
Yeah.
And we would just go around like conquering everyone as the Wu, just like, yeah, let's get it. And then I remember, I don't know if you remember this, or maybe you do, the Battle of the Hulao Gate, and then Lu Bu shows up, and he just kicks your ass, and you're like level 3. You're like, what the hell is going on? And I remember just being so frustrated. So my brother and we would just grind until we both leveled our characters all the way to the max, go to the Battle of Hulao Gate, and just like kick Lu Bu's ass. Be like, yeah, that's right, dude.
Oh god, that brings back memories. Like whenever like a friend of mine would come over and I'd be like, "Yo, let's play Dynasty Warriors," and we'd do like one mission, like maybe like the Yellow Turban Rebellion mission or something like that, and they'd be like, "Oh man, this is fun," and I'm like, "All right, let's go to Hulao Gate now," and I don't tell them nothing. I just say, "Let's go to the Battle of Hulao Gate," and then they try to take on Lu Bu, and they just get decimated.
Oh,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, dude, it's frustrating.
Yeah, no, I mean, anybody that plays that game, it's just you just got to run from Lu Bu, especially if you're low level. So, but yeah, man, I love those games. What is your favorite Zelda game though of all time?
I'm gonna have to say Wind Waker.
I feel bad that I never played that one. But, yeah, I think I only played the old school Zelda games, and it's one of those things where it's like I never owned an N64 or a GameCube, so I missed out on that generation. But yeah, I have been playing Link's Awakening a little bit here and there on the Switch, and I've been enjoying that because that's probably my favorite Zelda game of all time. I played it on the Game Boy.
Oh,
way
okay.
back in the day.
Yeah. What do you like most about that? Why is that one like your favorite?
I think I like the soundtrack is my favorite. I like how, you know, you have to collect instruments and as you collect the instruments, like the song like gets richer and like and until like final, because I guess have you played it? Link's Awakening yet?
Yes.
Okay. So you know how at the end you play all the instruments together and that wakes up the windfish.
Yep.
You know, it's just I think I just like the music aspect of it, and how just the simplicity. Yeah, I guess that's really what it is. I mean, sure, nostalgia goggles as well, because that's one of the first ones I ever played. But still, yeah, it's just I have a lot of fond memories, and it was just really, it's been really nostalgic playing it on Switch, and it feels similar, but it also feels fresh, and there's a lot of new things that they added. So
Yeah, I like the art style on the Switch, the remake. It's really cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Aside from those, we recently played Among Us for the first time, the both of us, with our friends.
Yeah.
That was an interesting experience, to say the least. So I'm sure everyone who's listening has heard of Among Us. It's basically Mafia, which is basically a game where you have to find the two people that are killers in the town, but they look like everyone else, and then you have to, like, in Among Us, you have to find dead bodies and then start like a debate and then accuse people. And once you vote whoever the imposter or imposters are, then they off the ship or off wherever, then you win as the crewman. But if the imposters kill everybody, then they win. It's a simple premise, honestly.
Mm-hmm. And seemingly it's taken Twitch by storm lately. You know, most of the Twitch streamers that I know have dabbled in Among Us streams.
Would you say that it dethroned Fall Guys?
You know what? Possibly, yeah. Because a lot of the people that I knew that streamed Fall Guys, they kind of just moved on to Among Us. You know, it's just it's hard to tell sometimes what are the games that like really stick and people build their streams around versus just the games that everybody's really into at one time, and so you know all your friends are just coming together and just playing it, and you're just enjoying it while it's popular.
Yeah.
But I mean, from what I understand, Among Us has been around for a long time, right? It's just only recently that it I guess has been making its rounds.
Right. It was like 2 years ago when the game first came out, and then like someone on Twitch started playing it. It blew up, and then now everyone's playing it.
Yeah.
I watched Soulja Boy play it. I saw T-Pain playing it. I was just like, oh yeah, these people are also streamers and gamers. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
It was fun. It's definitely, we only had 5 people when we played it, so it was a little bit more challenging. A lot of
Right.
Our friend Ryan, he just killed people on accident sometimes, and then we would be killing people in doorways in front of other people. It was actually a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It was so funny.
I'm a terrible killer because I don't really find the right times to do it. Sometimes I'll do it right in front of somebody. What was it, like Mark, who spotted me like going into one of the vents on the camera. I was like, oh, I forgot there's security cams.
Yeah, no, I feel it. I'm a terrible liar too, so I'm just like, I don't know what to say.
I think I'm just naturally suspicious. So these types of games, everyone always votes for me.
Oh no, well, mostly just Ryan voting for you. It's so messed up. He's like, it's always him. So he's DJB. I'm like, no, it's not. Because there's one time when I was the imposter. He voted incorrectly. So that was fun. I think Among Us is definitely a really fun game, but you definitely need 10 people to play that game.
Oh yeah, the more the merrier in that type of game.
Yeah, it's with 5 people. I think it's easy to tell who the imposter is, because if one of you's dead, there's like an even number of people, and it's just like, okay, well, where were you? All right, you're the imposter. You know. But there were some times when we're like, we don't know who killed it, so we're just gonna vote and skip. So moving on to news. Wow, let's talk about the big one first of all. Microsoft buys Zenimax for $7.5 billion. Zenimax is the parent company of Bethesda Software, the people that make Skyrim, the people that make Fallout, and the upcoming game Starfield.
Wow.
This is huge because everyone knows last generation's console wars was won by Sony. Technically, they had, all of the bigger marketing, the better exclusives, and this time around, Microsoft's like, all right, it is our time to be in the spotlight. We're gonna be the ones to be like the exclusive house. They own some exclusives, notably like Forza and Halo, but they want more. And Bethesda still has a lot of deals in place with Sony for like exclusives that come out first on the PS5. But with this Microsoft deal, looks like Microsoft has a lot more exclusives under their belt. They also have like Doom, so it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, man, that's I mean, that's a little concerning because I'm a big Fallout fan, and I guess I could play it on PC, of course, if
Sure.
it comes out. And I think that's always why I tend to lean towards Sony when it comes to the consoles, because I could play most Microsoft games on PC. But yeah, I mean, why do you think they did that? Is it just mainly to secure exclusives for the next generation of consoles?
I think that's the number one reason. I also think it was a power move against Sony because Sony doesn't have that kind of money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sony, like, despite winning the last war, they don't make as much money as Microsoft. I mean, at its core, Microsoft is still one of the big Silicon Valley companies, and it always has been, and they're worth billions and billions of dollars. And I guess 7.5 is like nothing to them. And it's crazy that they paid that much for Bethesda, considering like Bethesda really hasn't had a good track record as of late. They only had Skyrim on everything. Fallout 76 failed immensely. So it's I mean, maybe they're paying for like, I guess, everything plus maybe some other unannounced stuff that's supposed to be a hit. Because if you think about it, like, Disney paid $4 billion for Marvel and like another $4 billion for Lucasfilm. Like, Microsoft paid almost that much for just one company, which is insane to me.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe Microsoft has some kind of plan up their sleeve. Maybe they're betting and hoping that this does work out, because now that they own it, like, what are you gonna do, right? Like, who knows? It also concerns me as well, because do you have an Xbox, by the way?
I do not. I've never owned an Xbox.
Same, actually. I've never owned an Xbox, mainly because I had a feeling that everything I wanted to play on Xbox was going to end up on PC, and it did. All the Halo games, most of the Halo games are on PC. Sea of Thieves is on PC. I mean, those are the only two games that come to mind when I think about like Xbox.
Sure.
So, yeah, I've always been kind of a Nintendo/Sony kid growing up. So owning a PS4 I thought was a really good investment, and I think it paid out because I still play it to this day, and I love all the exclusives on it. I never really saw interest in the Xbox, but I mean, I hope that Microsoft doesn't meddle too much with Bethesda and what they're doing. They did say they're going to keep all the leadership in Bethesda, so that's cool. It doesn't really affect the product, but still, like,
Sure.
We'll see.
Well, I mean, I think as soon as Bethesda announces that they're gonna drop the follow-up to Skyrim, what would that be? Elder Scrolls 7 or something like that?
It's like Elder Scrolls 6.
Is it 6 or I guess does online count as one of the numerical Elder Scrolls?
No, it's not like Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because
but I think
yeah.
I think once they do that, like, a lot of people will be all over it, because I know some people that are still diehard Skyrim fans. Like, they'll still stream Skyrim, and even though that game came out, what, 2014, something like that?
I think it was like 2012, actually.
Oh yeah,
It's like a
yeah,
long
that's
time
right,
ago.
actually, because that came out in the PS3 gen.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I remember that. Oh my god. It also helps that mods keep the game alive too
Yeah, that's true.
on PC, and they've also kept Oblivion, the previous iteration, as well as Elder Scrolls Morrowind alive. Because I remember getting Morrowind and having like 5 discs, and then just like installing all of them, and then like finding out that mods were a thing, and then my brother and I modded the shit out of Morrowind, and it wasn't the base game anymore. It was like some other game with like samurai, like knights and pirates. It was weird, but it was so cool. So yeah, I mean, I also know people that still play Skyrim to this day, like every now and then they're like, yeah, like not just the modded version, but also like the vanilla version, where they just want to enjoy that experience. So I think it's needless to say that Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim will be coming to Xbox Series X, right?
Right, probably as like a timed exclusive, I would imagine.
Yeah. I don't know how many deals Bethesda has with Sony prior to the buyout, but I know that there were like some. I don't remember anything off the top of my head. But in any case, big news, really, really big news. Exciting for Microsoft, exciting for Xbox fans. I do know that these games will still come out on PC. I don't think any of that will change. Like Doom, the next Doom game will definitely come out on PC. So,
Sure.
yeah, we'll see. Some other news topics. Fall Guys developers secretly launched a mode called Cheater Island in order to detect cheaters. Have you played Fall Guys?
I have, but I am not that great at it.
No.
If I devoted more time to it, probably I would pick it up a bit more. But you know, it's fun. It's a nice little distraction type game to play.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's definitely fun with friends. It can get frustrating, but not just control wise, but cheater wise. I have seen my fair share of cheaters, like people floating, people just flying to the end, and
Oh wow.
So basically, the developers of Fall Guys, Mediatonic, they created a mode called Cheater Island where the game will automatically. It's done a good job of automatically detecting if you're a cheater or not, and it'll throw you in lobbies with only cheaters. So, like, it's like people with like cheat trainers and like cheat programs all fighting against each other. You know, wow. It's like doing steroids, right? And imagine if all the roided up people were caught and they were just forced to play roided Olympics or like roided baseball. So it's like that. You're like, you know what? You're stripped of your medal, but you can be the best out of all the people that are also just like you.
Wow, that actually sounds like it would be an entertaining stream to watch. I should check some of those streams out if anyone does that.
Right? I haven't looked into them myself. I'm sure they exist, but yeah, a lot of other developers have done this with other games. I can't name any off the top of my head, but this has been shown to be like a good thing because if you ban someone, they're just going to make a new account, right? And then cheat again. And then you ban that account and then just cheat again. But if you put them in a lobby with other cheaters, then you're like, all right, like you can still play the game on your own account, but you can't play with the normal people that want to play the game, you know, in a regular way. You're gonna have to play with the people that also cheat, that also fly, that also like hover. So
yeah, do you know if they get notified that they're in that lobby, like they were exposed as a cheater, or do they just find out, oh, I'm in a game with a bunch of other cheaters?
You know, I'm not sure. I don't know if they get notified, but I do know that like they'll see it when they start playing a game.
Sure, yeah.
I have to do more research on it, but that'd be funny if they're like, "Hey, guess what? You're cheating, so you're gonna go to Cheater Island." It's like, fuck. Well, I guess that's a good thing. I don't know. I haven't cheated. I mean, I think it's a fun game, but I don't really see any reason to cheat since you can't really buy anything with real money. And what is the point?
Yeah, why do people cheat? In my opinion, anyway, because it's like like if I'm playing Valorant, for example, and people are cheating because they're using like a see-through wall hack or like a insta headshot, like what is the fun in that? I don't know. That's just me personally. I'm like, why? When you take out the challenge aspect of it, like to me, it's not really worth it anymore.
Yeah, no, exactly. I totally understand. Like you kind of play the game and get better at it. You hone your skills, but if you use a program to do everything for you, like what's the point? To get like better knife skins? Like I don't know.
Right.
Everything is random in those drops. It's funny you mentioned that. There was a guy on Reddit recently who posted a video of him showing how his anti-cheat/cheat program worked. He made a website where it advertised like, oh, you can download this cheat program for Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and it'll help you win better. Like it'll have wall hack, it'll have insta headshot, all those fun things for cheaters. So cheaters of course downloaded it, but what they didn't know is that on certain maps, on all maps, there's specific parts where you go to, and it'll automatically like throw your weapon off the cliff. It'll make you jump off the cliff. If you go up to a door and try to open it, it won't open. If you try to use the op, like it'll just make a sound with the gun. It won't actually fire a bullet. And so this dude made this cheat program just like to troll cheaters because that game is known for rampant cheating. And I thought it was genius. I was like, wow, this is so cool.
Good for him. He's a real one.
Right? And the way that he would see how the person used his cheat program was, if they installed the program into their Steam client or into their game folders, it would automatically send him the data files. And I think the way that CSGO works is as long as you have a certain data file from CSGO, it will like show you the replay of that player. Because the game uses all the same maps, all the same like models and stuff. So, and it uses Source SDK, and that's kind of like a free open software that people can use to build their own games, but also like, there's a built-in tracker for that game, so it's really cool that he's able to see like the data from that cheater, put it into his game, and see the replays in real time, which is so awesome. So he was able to catch those and like put them in a YouTube video, which is so funny. So yeah, cheaters are stupid. I'm glad Fall Guys developers did that.
Agreed.
Next bit of news is about Halo 3 ODST. It arrived on PC as part of the Master Chief Collection as of the day of this recording. It unlocked at 10 a.m. today. I own that collection, but I have not started playing any of the games yet. Are you a Halo fan? Are you a big Halo guy?
I never really got too much into Halo because I never really owned an Xbox.
Right.
And I actually only started playing on PC maybe like 2 years ago for the first time in my life.
Oh, nice. No, yeah.
I was always a Mac person, but I mean, I remember like playing Halo with friends and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people love the Halo series. So
yeah, no, I was the same way. Like we both didn't grow up with Xboxes, but we knew people that did. I would go to like friends' houses and just play it there, or like I had a cousin who had a modded Xbox that had like modded versions of Halo multiplayer maps, which were really interesting. This is like not even on PC. Like this is like he had a chip in the Xbox and he just like loaded ROMs and a bunch of other cool stuff onto it. And part of it was like modded Halo 2 multiplayer maps. So there would be like meteors falling from the sky. There would be like, swords that like you can slash people from across the map. Yeah, so I've always been kind of a fan, but like not like a super diehard fan since I never really owned any of the consoles, but I did beat 1 through 3 on my cousin's Xbox. So I can happily say that I did complete the first trilogy. Just I never owned them. And I finally do, but I haven't played them yet. I haven't started playing them because there's so many other games to play,
Right.
Yeah. Were you like a COD guy? Were you ever into COD?
Yeah. I like the first COD I ever played was Black Ops 1, and I was all over that game.
Nice.
It was so fun. Yeah, so I played all the Black Ops games. I mean, the Modern Warfare games were cool and everything, but I guess I was more of a Black Ops guy. And yeah, and I also really liked the zombies modes and stuff.
Yeah, dude. Are you excited for the new Black Ops game?
Oh, I didn't even know there was one yet. It was announced?
Yeah, there was it was announced as a trailer. It's called Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. It's a very long title, but it takes place in the 1960s and the 1980s.
Nice.
It just shows like a little bit of the Vietnam War, but then it cuts to the future, the 1980s. It's based on, I guess, kind of loosely based on a true story of a Russian spy in the American government somewhere. They show like a digitized version of Ronald Reagan. That was kind of like the thumbnail for the video, which is weird. Multiplayer took place in Miami. There's like a Miami map, some jungle maps, and then at the very end they teased zombies. So it's coming back.
Wow, nice. Is that coming out this year?
I think so. I want to say yes. Yeah, it's coming out 2020, but I don't think there's an official release date. Maybe holiday 2020.
Okay.
Oh yeah, November 13, 2020.
Okay. Wow.
So,
now I'm hyped for that.
yeah. It does look interesting. I mean, everyone knows that like COD is like basically the same thing every year, but I also have I have a special connection to the Black Ops series because I really like the time period it takes place in. I like the guns. I think it was a lot of fun when I played it.
Yeah, I mean, playing COD is kind of like playing basketball in some ways. You know, it's just, even though it's the same thing, it's like, you know, the people that play these 2K games, it's still the same game, right? But it's a tried and true formula that people love. And you know, it's one of those things where you can jump in for 1 or 2 matches and find it entertaining, and then you can jump out. So
yeah, like you don't have to like play it for hours and hours on end if you don't want to, because like the matches are so fast.
Or you can if you want to.
For sure. Yeah. Some people get gratification from doing that.
Yeah.
So moving on, more news stuff. GameStop closes 100 more stores. GameStop's not doing too well in the pandemic. Sad to say.
Yeah, I've been watching its stocks.
Oh yeah.
drop.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that this console generation is going to help it limp on for a little longer, but you know, everyone knew that that's what was going to happen, right? That like these retail stores, specialized retail stores are going to suffer more and more as like more people feel more accustomed to ordering on Amazon, as these games go more digital, you know. So
right. It just, now you have to think about like, where can I buy video games if GameStop, or I'd rather say when GameStop eventually closes, because it's going to be like Best Buy or Target, right? Or like Costco.
yeah.
Like those are the only places I can think of. There aren't that many. I don't know about you, but in my area, there aren't too many mom and pop like video game stores. Those kind of died out.
Yeah, no, those died out a long time ago for my area too.
It's really
But
sad.
I remember like I have some fond memories of like circa 2013 or whatever, when there would be like midnight releases of physical copies of games, and there would be a line out around GameStop, and then they wouldn't give it to you until after midnight, so you'd just be chilling with a bunch of other gamers like ready for what were the games that dropped back then? Watch Dogs 1 or something like that.
Yep.
You know? I think the first Last of Us, you know, I probably went to the midnight release. Of course, like Black Ops, those games, like, you know, that's not really a thing anymore, I don't think, unless you're waiting for a console or something to drop.
Plus, like, those kind of releases happen a lot earlier now. Like, I remember I wanted to get Sekiro, and they're like, oh yeah, midnight release. I walked in at 3 p.m. They're like, hey, are you him? I'm like, yeah. And they just gave it to me. And then I was like, it's 3 p.m.
Yeah. I mean, those used to be hype, man. Like sometimes like they'd be like one person that's waiting for the pre-order is going to get a prize or something like that. Like for Black Ops, there was a care package that the GameStop gave out, like an actual big care package.
Yeah. Oh my God, I remember that. Those like exclusive things.
Yeah, but those days are gone, I guess.
Yeah. But you know, I mean that those memories still live on. There's like video footage of it somewhere. I remember my buddy in college. He went to, I forget which Resident Evil it was, but he went to downtown San Francisco for the midnight release of one of the Resident Evil games, and he was on Capcom's video. Capcom made a video about people like waiting in line and like interviewing them about stuff like, who's your favorite Resident Evil character? And then my my roommate was in the video, and I was like, yo, what's up, dude? That's so sick. So yeah, I wish a lot more like companies were into those things. Maybe I'm just not aware of it, but I don't know. Maybe it kind of died down after a certain time.
Yeah.
But in any case, next bit of news is about Super Mario Brothers turns 35 years old. So a lot of events were happening, notably the Super Mario 3D All Stars collection on the Nintendo Switch, which consists of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy, the first one, that are all remastered on the Switch, which is so dope.
Nice.
I haven't gotten it. I don't really have an interest in getting it since I still own all three of those games on their respective consoles, and I don't really feel like playing them again, to be honest.
Sure.
But it's really cool, and there was like a free pin that you can get, like a little Mario pin you can get that says like that has like a little 8-bit Mario, and it says like 35. You can get it for free from the Nintendo store online. You just had to do certain things in the store, like do a quiz, click on a certain thing. But now that people have it, they're like scalping it on eBay for like ridiculous amounts of money, which is really sad.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, don't be a dick.
Yeah. We're going to see a lot more of that once, PS4 drops, and apparently since it's kind of, what is it, that they're not going to meet shipping expectations or something like that. So, yeah, a lot of scalpers, man, especially this time of year.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool, though.
Yeah. I just wish that maybe Nintendo had more. Maybe it was like an exclusive thing for them, and they're like, we don't have that many. Well.
Yeah. I remember playing the first Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo,
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever play that one?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was like, yeah, well, it was like the first game remastered in like a 3D, not 3D, in like more colors and looked better.
Yeah, like 16-bit.
Yeah.
It was cool. That was the first time I ever actually experienced like Super Mario 2, and then they had Super Mario The Lost Levels and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That cartridge is worth a lot of money now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's like, I mean, if you think about it, like a lot of older games are starting to go up in value just by generation. The old NES games have always been kind of priceless, but
Sure.
like Super Nintendo's definitely up there. GameCube is starting to get up there. Fun little fact and side tangent, I got into GameCube game collecting because it's my favorite Nintendo console. I got into it like early last year. I spent a lot of money on GameCube games, and then there just came a point where I just stopped cold turkey because I was spending a lot of money on these games, and they were getting more and more expensive, like some of the ones that I wanted, so I had to stop.
Wow, so how much were these GameCube games going for when you were collecting them?
Oh my god, like $50 to $60, as much as like...
What?
Yeah.
Really?
So like I wanted the first Pikmin game and Pikmin 2. Pikmin 1, like the way I did it was I was on eBay, but I was also like looking at mom and pop stores. My girlfriend and I, we went to San Jose at one point, and there was like a mom and pop like used game store, and they had a bunch of GameCube games that were like selling for cheap. So I bought like a few of them. And then on eBay, there were some that I really wanted that I couldn't find anywhere else. So like the Pikmin games, I paid $40 for the first one and like $50 for the second one. And these are like with the manual still intact. Like they're nice looking games. They're still good quality games, as far as like aesthetics go. But like some of these, like I'm looking at them right now. Like Resident Evil 4 was like $55, and the 4 Mario Party games, it's like, the 3 Mario Party games, which are 4, 5, 6, and 7, that are all in the GameCube. Those were like, all together, those were like $70.
Oh jeez, I believe it though. What was the Mario Party game that had like volleyball, and that was so fun. I remember playing that with friends all the time.
I couldn't tell you. I don't even remember. Oh my god, I remember playing it though because I think it was on GameCube, right? Was that on GameCube?
Yeah, it was on GameCube, but I didn't play it until like the Wii came out because you know how the Wii could play GameCube games.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's GameCube collecting it's fun, but it's taxing on your wallet. But
Oh man.
one
Yeah,
thing, one peripheral I am very proud of, is it's a GameCube controller with a keyboard in the middle.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of that?
I have not, but I believe it exists.
It was made specifically for Phantasy Star Online.
Wow. Okay.
And it goes for like 400 now, but I bought it for like 150 on like some eBay bid. It's crazy.
So was Phantasy Star Online? That was an MMO.
Yeah.
Wow.
You could still play it on your PC now, but you can't play it on consoles, obviously.
Sure. Yeah. No, because I remember like hearing that they were like that era. There, I remember they were putting Final Fantasy 11 like on PS2, and what were some of the other games that like MMOs that they were putting on console? And back then I was like, why would you play these types of games on console? But I get it. Like those were the booming genres back then, like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 11, all these MMOs. So I get it. They're trying to tap into that market of console gamers. But I mean, well, did you play it by any chance? Phantasy Star Online.
So
like, how did that run on a console?
It's funny you mentioned that. I actually played it on Dreamcast.
Okay.
So the Dreamcast had an Ethernet port built into the back, and my cousin had it, and I actually never played it myself. I never owned the game, but he had it. It didn't come with a controller, but you could still play it online with other people. I'm sorry, with a keyboard, not a controller. Of course, there was a controller, but it didn't come with a keyboard, or I think you had to like plug in your own that had like a special Dreamcast connector because, all the consoles had like special ports for their certain controllers. He didn't have the keyboard, so we would just run around and see people typing to each other, but we couldn't talk back to them, so we would just like use gestures. It's kind of frustrating if you think about it, because in an MMO, you want to talk to other people. That's like the point.
Right.
And there was no like headset either, so you couldn't really like live chat with people. So it was interesting, but it really felt like you were just playing a single player game because you couldn't talk to other people.
Right. And I mean, that's the whole like allure of playing an MMO is like you're interacting like with real people in one shared world.
Yeah. So that kind of fizzled away after a while, but now you can play that specific game that was on the Dreamcast and on the GameCube online via like you can download like the client. I forget what website, but the game still exists. You can download the client and it'll automatically take you to certain servers that are up and running by some fan that created it. So they made the game, they remastered it for PC, and it works on PC now. But I know that Steam also released their version, I think, like Phantasy Star Online 2, but it came out in 2012 in Japan and just came out recently in the US on PC. So, I mean, people are now getting into that game again and realizing that it's still a thing.
Man, that's impressive for a game like that old, from like, such a bygone era to still actually be playable and people will still actually play it.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because there's a lot of people that still play any game online if you think about it. Well, not any game. I'd say like there's still audiences for certain games. We just don't think about it because we're not playing them.
Sure.
So like I don't know, maybe the old Call of Duty games, people still play those. I don't know if the servers are still up, but I know that there are fans on like Game Ranger that still have their servers up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I'd be curious to log into like Black Ops 1 through my PS3 and still see if I could find like a multiplayer match and how long it would take and stuff.
Yeah, no, seriously though. I don't know if the Xbox servers are up or the PS3 servers are up, but I do know that PC, there's always going to be a way to play those games online.
You know what that reminds me of is that, so there was this video that I saw on YouTube, and it was really creepy actually. So it was this game, this MMO game from like the early 2000s that was completely deserted, and some guy logs in, and like all the artwork is all gothic and stuff like that. But the entire world, like the instance or whatever that he entered into, was completely empty, except there's this one guy by himself that runs up to him and starts like speaking cryptically, and like it's just kind of spooky to think about it, that he just there would randomly be one guy still playing like a dead MMO, and like he's actually RPing as some guy just enters into the game. I wish I knew what game it was called, but yeah, it's probably not that difficult to find if someone's curious. Like Google it or look it up on YouTube. But it's just this really creepy video, and this guy just starts talking like, "What brings you here, traveler?" And and I think he was able to determine that it wasn't an NPC because he was responding to him. He would ask him questions, and then the guy would actually respond to him. So it's.
Yeah, that is cryptic. That I want to see that video. That sounds so scary. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane how there are still certain people that are like, I wonder if anyone's still playing this, and they go to that game. They're like, hey, I'm gonna be weird to this guy,
Yeah.
Dope. All right. The last piece of news I have is about PlayStation 5. There is a PlayStation 5 showcase that happened recently, and certain things were revealed. So the first thing that they started off with was Final Fantasy 16. Looks cool.
Yep.
Probably is going to come out 5 years from now. Let's be honest.
I hope not, honestly. I really do hope not. Are you a big Final Fantasy fan, or have you ever like dabbled even into the Final Fantasy series?
I've dabbled. I wouldn't consider myself a huge fan. I think it's an interesting like game series wise, and I do know a lot about like certain aspects of certain games. So like 7, I already know everything about that game because people talk about it. I want to play it. I want to play the remake, but I do want to play the original. Yeah, everyone's saying it. Everyone's saying it. My other host Alyssa, she's really into the Final Fantasy series. But yeah, I've only dabbled myself. Are you a big fan?
Oh, I'm a lifelong fan of Final Fantasy. Probably my number 2 favorite game of all time would be Final Fantasy 6.
Wow.
It's just I think like Final Fantasy is what kind of made me a gamer in some ways. But going back to Final Fantasy 16, when I saw it, I thought it looked very similar, like in art style and character design, to Final Fantasy 14, the online game. Mm-hmm. So my assumption then is that like they probably built that game on the same engine, which probably will save them a lot of production time. So I'm hoping that this game is actually not that far off. And Square Enix has learned their lesson and decided not to take 10 years to develop one single game,
Yeah, no, I hope that as well, because I don't know, I guess there's so much fan backlash that they're like, hey, finish it. Like, we just want you to finish it. Why does it have to take you this long to finish this game?
Yeah, I know, man. Like, I remember making a joke to my friend when Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced, like back in 2013, 2014 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I said, like, I can't wait to play it in 2019.
Oh my God.
and they thought I was like trolling, but sure enough, that's when it came out.
He like knocks on your door, hands you $50 and walks away.
Right.
No, I mean, I remember people buying PS3s just to play Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm like, y'all tripping. It's not going to come out for that system. And then, lo and behold, came out years later.
Yeah.
Because everyone thought that Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to come out in, like, 2010. But Wow.
Oof.
Yeah, it was a little bit too late. A little too early, too late.
Yeah, but I mean, Square Enix definitely has milked that genre. You know, even though Kingdom Hearts 3 only recently came out, like they definitely had like Kingdom Hearts 1.5 remix, Kingdom Hearts 2.9 or whatever. I don't know, man.
I bought
I don't know
like
how they understand. I don't
right.
understand how they do that shit.
I bought like that whole collection on PS4 digitally because it was like $30 for everything, including 3. And I was like, all right, cool. And then
Oh wow.
yeah, and then I booted it up recently just to look, and I was like, there was like 1.5, there was like 2, then 2.5, and then 2.8. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so confused. And then there was like 258 over whatever days. I'm like,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
the fuck
yeah.
is
Then
going
there's
on?
Dream Drop Distance. There's Birth by Sleep. You know, Chain of Memories. I can't follow the Kingdom Hearts series, man. It's too confusing for me.
For real. And it also doesn't help that all these different games came out on like Nintendo DS, 3DS, PSP. Like they came out for every single like system when these systems were active, right? So it's just like,
Right.
holy shit. I know that some of these are like 258 over whatever was like a DS game. So when I looked at the cutscenes, like they looked very dated, but they tried to up-res them to 1080 to look better. But I was like, this looks terrible. I remember I had a buddy in college. He bought Dream Drop Distance because he loves Kingdom Hearts, and he bought that game. He put it next to his bedside, and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool, man! Like, have you started it yet?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, I don't have a 3DS." I'm like, "What the fuck?" He just bought the game, but he didn't own the console.
I was like, just like looking at it, I guess, huh?
Yeah, he's just die hard into the game series. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I hope they finish Final Fantasy 16 soon.
Yeah, because I'm hoping that, because I feel like if they're already announcing Final Fantasy 16, that means we're not going to see anything about Final Fantasy 7 Remake 2 until after Final Fantasy 16. It's just kind of the way Square Enix works. So I'm like, in my heart, I'm hoping that 16 is not that far off, so that we can already see them move on and develop and churn out Final Fantasy 17 Remake 2.
So are you? Did you like 7 Remake, and are you excited about the second part of it?
I very much enjoyed Remake. There were a lot of things about it that I kind of was disappointed with, but regardless, like the fact that they were still like, going back to like how we were talking about Last of Us, and how Last of Us 2 still captured the same like tone and hit the same notes that the first one did. Like, amazing that all these years later, like Square Enix still in their remake could hit the same notes and have the same tone and have like new music and old music, and they still feel like they work together so well. I mean, there are a lot of aspects of the remake that feel story-wise, that feel kind of not up to par as the stuff that was written and made for the original game back in the day. Some of the things, the additions, some new characters here and there, they're not nearly as fascinating as some of the the characters that everyone knows. But still, I enjoyed every minute of it. I'm looking forward to the next game. I hope it comes out soon. I would recommend it to people even if they haven't played the original, but of course, I would have to say, as a long-time Final Fantasy fan, definitely play the original. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, for sure. That's why I want to play the original before playing the remake, because I want to know the roots. I want to know what it was like.
Sure. But then again, you have the opportunity to experience like the new one first, and see what what it's like in this generation, and then also experience like the origins of it. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like, as someone that has never played 7, I could go into that whole experience with fresh eyes and then just be like, okay, so this is what this is like, because I already know what 7 is like since I've played my fair share of JRPGs and turn-based combat games. But
Sure.
yeah, I mean, I am curious about the remake, simply because it's a newer game, and I want to see it on like a high-res system, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so dope. The next game in the PlayStation 5 showcase is Hogwarts Legacy. It is an open world wizard game set in the Harry Potter universe, where you create your own wizard, I'm assuming, and then you just explore Hogwarts and the whole wizarding world up to a certain extent. It's made by Avalanche Games and published by Portkey Games. Looks cool. There isn't really much gameplay, just a lot of cutscenes and like, hey, you could be a wizard. A lot of people were worried that J.K. Rowling would have a hand in this because of, I guess, her recent actions and tweets.
Sure.
But
Sure.
Warner Brothers, the people who own Portkey Games, were like, she's not writing the game. She doesn't really have a lot of part in this. So yeah, safe to say she won't be involved to a major extent. But it looks interesting. I've always been a fan of the Harry Potter series. I'm curious to see how this game pans out.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. After that, they showed some Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War stuff. I think I mentioned already, like, it was mostly a multiplayer showcase where they showed, I'm sorry, not mostly multiplayer. There was a single player mission showcase, but they also had, like, some multiplayer stuff. Yeah, it's Call of Duty. And then after that, they showed Resident Evil Village, aka Resident Evil 8. You play as the same character you did in 7, Ethan Winters, and you're in a village in Europe, and it's first person, and you don't know what's going on. Pretty cool. I'm already a fan, and the game hasn't come out yet. Do you like the Resident Evil games? Have you played those?
I honestly didn't really play much of the Resident Evil games back in the day. I have Biohazard. What was that, 7 or 6? I forget.
7, yeah.
Yeah. I've been playing that on VR, which I can only do for maybe 20-30 minutes at a time before I start to feel sick.
Oh yeah, I understand.
So yeah, I've been playing it in small increments over time. And I might get back into it and play that since October's coming around, and I might consider streaming it because that's when everyone likes streaming scary games. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I know that there are a lot of diehard Resident Evil fans, and I'm definitely curious to look into this new one coming out.
Oh yeah, for sure. It looks fun. After that, they showcased Deathloop, which is a game where you are stuck in like a time loop, and you have to kill certain enemies in certain ways. Yeah, it looks fun. Then they showed Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. It'll release digitally at the PS5 launch. Another game they showed after that was Oddworld Soulstorm. Oddworld is an interesting series because it has such a cult following that it always warrants a sequel. I don't know how the devs get away with it. I actually don't know what the game is about.
Yeah.
I only know the character's name is Abe, and that's about it.
Yeah, I just remember seeing those games back in the day and not really being interested in them based on the artwork. But I know that there's a lot of people that love that series, and maybe if I tried playing it, I might feel differently about it. But yeah, that's really fascinating to see that they're bringing that back for this generation.
Right? Yeah. So maybe they'll have like a collection of the older games on PS5 so that people that didn't get to play them will be able to play them. That's what I'm hoping, because I never played any of them. So after that, they showed Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, which is like taking place in a very 1980s style mall. And then there was like a jump scare at the end of that trailer. I got surprised. I was like, what the hell is that? Very Five Nights at Freddy's-esque. And then they show the Demon's Souls remake, which looks amazing. Never played it, but I am curious.
I know a lot of people are really, looking forward to that. Like from the hype that I've heard about like all these announced games, like that's the one that I hear the most hype for is Demon Souls.
Oh yeah, yeah, same. It seems like everyone's like really into that game, and there's a lot of people that are into that genre too. I know my brother is big on that genre.
Yeah.
Um,
The genre of game where you just die a lot.
just get really
just
frustrated.
constantly dying, yeah.
Because I played Sekiro and I died a lot in that game. And then after that, they said Fortnite's coming to PS5. No big surprise. Of course it's coming. It's coming for everything.
Yeah, I know.
And then finally, they showed the PlayStation Plus collection, which is a bunch of like hit PS4 games that are going to be available at the launch of the PS5. So I have the whole list here, which is God of War, Monster Hunter, Final Fantasy 15, Uncharted, Ratchet and Clank, Days Gone, Fallout 4, Until Dawn, Detroit Become Human, Battlefield 1, Infamous Second Son, Batman Arkham Knight, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, Persona 5, Resident Evil 7, and Bloodborne.
Damn, that's an impressive list, I gotta admit.
Right? It's like they took
amazing games in that list.
Oh yeah, they took games from all their first party studios, but also some third parties, and were like, we're gonna put this available for you on the PS5 once it comes out. Pretty cool.
I never got to play Persona 5, but that's something that's always been on my list, and so maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe that'll be the first game Well, I was about to say maybe that'll be the first game I play on PS5, but then again, like, why would I buy a new console to play an old gen game? But yeah, no, that I do look forward to tapping into a lot of those games that I never got a chance to play.
Yeah, same. Some of these on the list I haven't played, like Last Guardian. I haven't played that. And then they ended the whole show with a teaser for Santa Monica Studios' new game Ragnarok, which is a sequel to God of War, apparently.
Oh wow.
So that's exciting. The PS5 disc version will retail for $500. The digital only will be $400. Well, these are already announced. I'm sure everyone has seen it, but for posterity's sake. And then the release date is November 12th for the consoles. So very soon.
Yeah. Do you plan on are you a physical copy person, or would you be content if you got like the digital version?
So that's something I've been thinking about a lot. I have expressed on this podcast that I am going to wait for the next iteration of the console, because you know how there's like a PS Slim or like a PS, like the PS Pro. I'm waiting for like that Pro version because I know it's coming out. I know it's going to happen. Technology changes. Sony is using what they have now to put that into the PS5. So once technology gets better and new graphics cards, new chips, new SSDs are created, they're going to create and release a new console. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the PS5 Pro, PS5 Slim, what have you, to come out. Whether or not those will be digital only or have a disc option will be up to them, right? They did talk about backwards compatibility, but right now it's looking as though that might not be an option for the PS5, and if it isn't, then I might have to just keep my PS4. If backwards compatibility does not happen by the time that the Pro and Slim versions come out, because I have so many PS4 games already that are physical, then I'm just going to get the digital version of the PS5 and just play PS5 games on it.
Yeah, I think same for me. I probably will wait as well. I don't know if I'll wait till the Slim version comes out, because that might be like, 2 years down the line?
Sure.
I don't know. But it depends. Maybe it'll depend on when they announce when Final Fantasy 16 drops. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think that's respectable, because you don't know if the console is going to have like a red ring, or you want the people to guinea pig it first. And at least that's what I think.
Sure.
Cool, man. Excited for the PS5. Looks like there's a lot of cool things coming out for the PS5. The console wars definitely are going on.
Oh, yeah.
So it's exciting to see these two studios just battle it out while Nintendo's in the corner like, yep, you guys have fun. All right. So we completed games. We talked that we're playing. We completed news. I got some questions for you, man.
All right.
So as we started the podcast with, DJ B is a streamer, and he does a lot of variety in his streams. He doesn't just play Valorant and other video games like The Last of Us 2, but he also does music. He kind of touched on that previously where he sings. I gotta say, you're a very talented singer, man. I really like your I like your Twitch sing streams as well as your live performance streams.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it was cool seeing you jump in and some of your coworkers too jumping in and everything and getting to meet them. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. I appreciate the support.
Yeah, man. It's so dope. You're awesome. So, jumping off of that, what got you into streaming?
Yeah, so I was talking to a friend of mine recently. He's also a Twitch streamer, and he asked me the same thing. Well, he asked me like, what are my goals when it comes to streaming, and it made me think about how when I first started, like I was always one of those people that was like, why would anybody want to watch someone play video games? Like, what is the point of that?
Sure.
I was that person, you know, and so. And because I recently went back to school to study broadcasting. I also my job at the time, I was doing a live streaming for the college that I worked at, and so I just kind of wanted to see if I could get some experience in broadcasting at a consumer level. And so I decided to jump into Twitch. I didn't really know what I was doing. I completely went in with no real understanding of how the Twitch scene worked. And I was just streaming myself playing, what was it, Black Ops 3, I think. And so, yeah, that's kind of how I started on Twitch. It was just more like, there's some people that get into it because they think, oh, they're gonna get famous. They're going to, be the next ninja. They're going to, for me, that was never what it was. I just wanted to kind of learn. I just wanted to gain experience. Using OBS is actually, similar to like using like a switcher as a director, for broadcasting. So for me, it's like, okay, I can wrap my head around this. And because I also did work as a musician before, just on the side, and I also do sound. I had all this, microphone equipment, and I had a mixer already. So I was like, I might as well, jump into it and see what I can do and get some experience doing all this stuff. And that's kind of how it started.
Wow, you were like serendipitously prepared for being a streamer.
Yeah, well, that, and I also had bought a gaming PC around that time.
Oh my God, you're just set up for success. That's awesome. No, I remember catching some of your early streams in Black Ops. I didn't have a Twitch account then because I also was like, why would I watch people play games? But your wife, who I went to high school with, that's how I know you, was
right.
She was like, yeah, watch this. And I was like, okay, cool. And I watched it and I was like, I know him. I know him in real life. That's so cool. But I think it's really cool now that I know you, because you're doing so many things on Twitch. Which leads me to my next question. I kind of touched on it already, but I want to hear it from you. What kind of content do your streams primarily focus on?
Right. So I actually started building my community through a game called Twitch Sings, which was a free game. It was made by Harmonix, the people that made like Rock Band. And it's basically just a karaoke game. It's like you go into the game, there's a library of songs that you could pick. You can sing, or you can also choose to duet with other people who who basically make like a what's called a seed, where they'll sing like half of the song that the game gives them, and then the game gives you the other half, and then you can sing a duet with them. And so and the reason why I got into that was, one, because I was into music, and also because I guess because I saw a lot of like people that doing that game that aren't like the stereotypical type gamers. I would see like an older Filipino lady, singing some songs, some older people from older generations, some younger people singing the new stuff. I would meet people from like Europe, and also like what's cool is that since I was really into music, like when I would stream Twitch Sings, people that come in to chat, we would just talk about different types of music that we like, different genres. They can come in and request certain songs and stuff like that. And it's also a great way to build community through Twitch. And so I got to meet a lot of people that I normally wouldn't have, because it's a little difficult to meet people on Twitch if all you're doing is just streaming,
Sure.
And you basically can only meet the people that just happen to stumble across your Twitch stream, whereas, when you're playing a game like Twitch Sings that was very community oriented, it encouraged people to sing with other people that they don't know. And so that's kind of how I got into Twitch, the music aspect of Twitch. And so my community was there. Most of the people we all have like similar tastes in music. And so now that they unfortunately announced the closure of the game, I guess because paying royalties is a little too expensive for Twitch these days. I don't know. I mean, Amazon has all the money in the world, but I guess they can't they can't justify the upkeep for a game like Twitch Sings. So I guess it was you talk about serendipitous. Not too long before they announced that, I had decided to move towards just actual live music performance on Twitch. Playing my guitar, doing some songs, taking song requests, and that's the direction that I have been going in recently with my Twitch account. In addition to the gaming here and there, but I think at this point I'm building my Twitch stream on primarily around music.
Yeah, I really like that too. And I think, as I mentioned before, your live music streams are my favorites.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
For those listening that don't know, he basically has a song list, and you can just request whatever song you want. It's like, putting $1 into a karaoke machine, and then you just have the song play, and then, but in this case, he sings for you, and he sings whatever song's on his list, and it's so cool. Because recently he sang in Japanese, he sang some old hits, some old hip hop hits, but yeah, he has an extensive music knowledge, but also like a large list of like different genres, and it's really cool.
Sure, but I will say though that my song list weighs heavy on the R&B and some old school hip hop, so because that's just growing up in the Bay Area. Those were the genres that I was exposed to the most. A lot of soul, classic, like a lot of punk as well. But yeah, those are the genres that I dive into the most.
And I love it because I love those genres too. So what does the name DJ Bibinkahan mean? Since that is your full name, I've been referring to you as DJ B, the shorthand version. And also, to add on to that, are you really a DJ?
Well, yeah, that's funny because, so no, I am not a real DJ, but I guess when it comes to like a DJ in the sense of, I always considered myself like a curator of music. Sort of like the DJs that are on the radio, like a radio DJ. So that's always what I considered myself to be more of, as opposed to like a DJ that actually spins. You know what I'm saying? But
sure.
The name is so we're from the same town, and there's a there's a restaurant, a Filipino restaurant that's actually a chain. There's one in Las Vegas that as I understand it. There's also a couple in Southern California, and there's one at least that I know of in Northern California, and it's called DJ Bibinkahan, and I
did not know that.
What, you don't know about the restaurant?
No, I didn't. What?
What?
That's crazy.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm surprised you
Yeah.
didn't know that. But anyway, yeah, it's called DJ Bibinkahan, and I always thought that's just like the name is, for one, is kind of interesting to me, but I know that like whenever my parents would ask me like where I wanted to like get food sometimes, I would make that suggestion, and they're not a, I hate to say it, but they're not really a fan of that place because they feel that the Filipino food there is a little greasy. So I always suggest that to them as a way to like troll them. Like, yeah, I want to go to DJ Bibinkahan.
Oh.
But so I remember having lunch with my wifey and her mom. We were only dating at the time, my wife, and so we were talking about like me wanting to do music more on like online and whatever, and I threw out the name, like, this is the name that I was going to use. I said DJ Bibinkahan, and she thought it was hilarious. She was just dying with laughter. So I was like, okay, well, she finds it funny, and it's kind of an esoteric type joke. It's like only a few people would get it. So I just went with it, and it's very gratifying, when I'm streaming and somebody will jump in and they'll be like, LOL, like the restaurant. So.
Oh my God. Wow, that's so cool. I see. I didn't know the backstory with the restaurant. That's awesome.
Sure, yeah. And I will get a lot of like Filipino people that come through, because bibingka is a Filipino dessert. It's like it's kind of like a cake. I don't know how to explain it exactly. And they use like banana leaves, and it's pretty cool. And so a bibinkahan is I guess a place where you would get bibingka from. And so that's technically what a bibinkahan is. Where the DJ comes from in the restaurant name, I have no idea. But but I feel like people also feel comfortable enough to call me DJ, because that already sounds like a name. So DJ or DJB. So it's just
right.
like I kind of just kept going with it.
Your name starts with a D too, which also helps.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, wow, that all just came together beautifully.
Sure. Well,
Because
it is a little difficult for people to type, and it's funny because
Right.
I'll go into people's streams and I'll say what's up, and it's just kind of funny to see people like stutter trying to pronounce my name, like, well, hey, what's up? Thank you for the follow, DJ Bibinkahan.
DJB.
Yeah.
No, that's great. That's fantastic. Wow, so much history behind that name. That is so cool.
Yeah.
So have you ever had any strikes against your channel?
Strikes? Well, not necessarily. I think the only things that'll happen is like if I was using copyrighted music, they'll mute my stream on the VOD.
Ooh.
That's about it. Like they just it's just copyrighted music. And now that the DMCA laws are much more strict, a lot of people are concerned about using copyrighted music, and so that's why most people I know, they just put on like lo-fi hip hop or something, those not copyrighted songs.
Sure. Yeah. That makes sense. I know my buddy Squeaky, she does that too. She just puts on lo-fi hip hop in the background because she's like, gotta skirt past that copyright,
Right.
But it's cool. I mean, I like that genre of music, and I think it does make for good like streaming music. But I'm glad to hear that you're okay. No strikes. But is that a worry as a streamer? Is that one of your worries? If not, what are your worries as a streamer?
Well, I don't necessarily feel as though I'm that much in danger of strikes. I mean, I don't really have too much like TOS content. For those who are not familiar with the term TOS, it's terms of service. That's what a lot of people say on Twitch. Like, like if you do something like, obviously if you say a racial slur,
Oh God.
if you show like a specific body part, even accidentally, that's TOS. So, things like that. I tend to stray away from that. There was like an alert that I had. It was a meme of this guy. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's the guy that goes like, "Good night, girl. I'll see you tomorrow." And then he falls back and like, he's got his shirt off so you can see him like, you can see his bare chest. And I guess that's considered TOS. Like you can't, a guy can't show, a guy can't be with his shirt off. So, I guess they got to keep it equal. A girl can't be with her shirt off, so I guess a guy can't be with his shirt off. so I had to get rid of that alert. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. I did not know that even that is just bad.
Sure. Well, actually, let me just clarify things though. Like one, I still feel like, even though I'm going on about 1.5 years into my streaming, like I'm still feeling like I'm still growing, I'm still learning, I'm still like figuring out where exactly I want to take my stream and stuff like that. I have monetized my stream, but it's not like to the point where like it's something I can live off of, not even close. But yeah, like I'm still learning new things every day. Even recently, I just like a couple weeks ago, I made some adjustments to my stream that I felt were long overdue, and I'm actually appreciating the response from my community regarding those adjustments that I made. So
yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy the adjustments.
Thanks.
Cool, man. So, do you think moving forward, with Twitch evolving and just live stream as a service evolving, do you think that streamers who have consistently been glued to one thing, do you think they should become a little bit more open to having variety in their streams?
Well, here's the thing. Like, people will say on Twitch, one thing I will say is that there is no one right path to growing on Twitch in that platform. A lot of people will go into like they will do variety and they'll find success there. Some people will just play like Fortnite, I guess, and they'll find huge success there. So I think that there's multiple paths, and for those that are aspiring to like get on Twitch, I think that really the one hurdle that a lot of people struggle with is just finding the path that suits them the best. And a lot of people will say like, on Twitch, the most important thing is to be yourself. For me, I found that, for me, it's like it's being myself times 10. You know what I mean? Like you're being an aspect of yourself that is real to you, but you're putting that forward, in a way to entertain other people. So you got to be like, a bit of a character while not necessarily, being fake, if that makes sense.
No, that's one of the questions I had later on. I'll kind of go into it, but yeah, I understand that there's like that whole character to it. Like when people see people on camera, they're like, okay, that's how they are, off the camera. When in reality, like you're not always that personality on, because in my opinion, everyone has like an on-camera personality and they have an off-camera personality.
Sure. Yeah, and going back to your question about like what was it like? Should people be more variety or whatnot? I think that once you find what your persona is and what you want to build your channel on, like that should help decide like is your community going there because they appreciate how you play certain types of games. Like some people, like for example, like a girl who I mean it's controversial, like, because a lot of people like are salty that like, really attractive girls get thousands of followers a day, you know.
Sure.
but
Mm-hmm.
but the reality is like, it's not enough to just be attractive. Like you have to like be that level of attractive times 10, in the sense that you have to like fit the, shape your persona around that. Like, so if you want to build your channel on being an attractive girl, then you got to do the whole like, you always have to put your face on every time you stream. Oh my god, if I had to put makeup on every time I streamed, oh my god, I don't know if I would do it. But yeah, like you always have to have that, and you have to have like the cute little lights that all these female streamers have, and the plushies in the background. I mean, I'm not saying you have to do that, but that's what a lot of the streamers that I know, they do that because that's their character, and they're going into that. Where, and then there's those guys that build their stream around being competitive esports type players, where they're just really good at one game. And so in that sense, then variety probably wouldn't work so well for them. They would go deeper into just that specific game, and they would see like if their community is playing, like if they were like deep into Call of Duty, of course they would shift into other FPS games if they wanted to, find some variety. But yeah, so I guess that would be my if someone was like, should I do variety? Well, my suggestion would be figure out what your community would respond to the most based on who you are and what your content is like.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's a good point, because you, again, at the end of the day, you want to be yourself, as you just mentioned earlier, and you want to be true to what you like, what you play.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it. No, that's great. Have you ever experienced any challenges as a variety streamer?
Oh yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, Twitch is of like it's constant. It's constantly a challenge. I think, there are times when I'll stream. It was even like maybe a couple months ago, and I was telling my wife about this. How I just, even though I was enjoying my streams, and I was getting a lot of interaction with, I was building friendships and playing with a lot of friends. I was looking at my metrics though, and I realized that I wasn't netting many new viewers and new follows, and I wasn't doing any growth.
Mm.
And so when I realized that, I was like, yeah, this just feels like it just feels like I'm not doing enough. And I think that's kind of where I needed to realize I needed to shift my focus. And so I think that's always the challenge, is like trying to recognize when you need to what you need to adjust, and wrapping your head around it, because there's so many different aspects to Twitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. I think you have a good point. I think, and you mentioned earlier that you're still figuring things out as a streamer, as a variety streamer. So a lot of room
Right.
for growth for you. So that's great.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt burnt out from streaming?
Um yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in the sense that, if there are times when like work starts to ramp up, um studies might get in the way, or if maybe I just don't really feel like playing a specific game that people have been wanting to see. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes I just don't feel like playing it. Sometimes there's just times when you just don't feel like playing video games, right?
Yes.
Um, but it's just really a matter of like consistency, uh, and also I think some of the big things that I had to overcome in that sense was just basically choosing the games that I know I'd enjoy. Unfortunately, that also plays into like my choice of like certain games that I want to purchase. You know, like there's some games that I won't buy because they're just single player campaigns, and not a lot of people tend to like watching those games on Twitch as much as they do like multiplayer games. So there's that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally understand that. So we talked about like your on-camera personality and your off-camera personality, and how when the cameras are rolling, you kind of have to feel like you have to be an extended version of yourself, like you plus a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's challenging to do every time you turn the camera on, or do you feel like you're starting to become more of yourself as opposed to this extended version of yourself?
Yeah, I do feel that is challenging, especially when say sometimes you might start a stream and there's no viewers, and a lot of people, especially when they start out, they'll stream to zero viewers,
Yeah.
or maybe one or two. Um, I think that when it's ultimately it just comes down to like practicing. So if there's nobody in chat, they always say still be yourself, still do you talk as, create content, don't try not to leave too much dead space, keep the conversation flowing. I think it's similar to podcasting, and I'm sure you would know, like, you want to make sure that people are hearing a flowing discussion. If you have like these long pauses in the discussion, you want to either edit those out or just try to alleviate those issues. So I think the same way is with Twitch streams. You know, you want to always have content that, as much as you possibly can, just keep the content flowing, however that may be.
Yeah, no, you bring up a good point, because I dabble in Twitch streaming. I really only stream Dead by Daylight whenever my team and I want to do something for charity. Like all of us will stream. We'll try to raise as much money as possible from our individual streams, and I usually have like one or two people in there, but like they don't really talk to me. They're just like lurking, and I'm still talking. I'm talking to both my teammates, but I'm also like trying to talk to the chat if anyone's there. And you have to just be on all the time. You just have to, it's like a solo podcast almost. You just have to keep vamping until something happens, So when the cameras turn off, what do you do? How do you feel?
Oh, I feel a wave of relief, honestly. Even if it was a great stream or even if it was a bad stream, I just feel so relieved, because it's like, okay, I can relax. I can take a deep breath. I can get some food. Some streamers eat on their streams. I don't particularly feel comfortable eating while people are watching me on my streams. So, like, I guess if I do like a 5-6 hour stream, that's 5-6 hours of not eating anything. So yeah, like that's how I feel. Sometimes I'll just put on lighter clothes and just veg out for a good hour or so. Just feel all the relief.
No, I get it, because your personality was like on for however many hours, and now you can just like say nothing to no one. You could just sit there and be like, you
Right.
know.
Yeah, like a Twitch stream is kind of like hosting a party. You want people to come through, and it's enjoyable when a lot of your friends come through, and you're hosting. You're the one entertaining everybody. You're the one like keeping them, making sure that they have a good time. And even though that's great and a lot of people like that, after it's all said and done, it's still a relief. And you just kind of, you're like in cool down mode, and I guess you have to clean up or whatever. For me, it's like putting away my instruments and all my sound equipment and stuff like that. but yeah, that's it's kind of a similar feeling.
Yeah, no, that's a really good analogy. I like that.
Yeah.
So on that note, when you're not streaming, what do you do in your spare time? What do you do for fun?
Well, I do play just some games offline with mostly with my Twitch friends, other streamers, um, and in that way I think that's important because that helps build community. If you play with other Twitch streamers, they'll like be more open to checking your stream out when you stream, and also supporting them as well, like going into their streams and saying what's up and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that, well, like we're stuck indoors these days, trying to stay safe from the pandemic. So
And
most
fires.
of what, yes, and fires. So most of the activities I do are not that interesting. I mean, the wifey and I have been doing some Tai Chi lately, just to try to, improve, do some healthy activities. So,
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
yeah.
Cool, man. And my final question is, do you have any advice for those looking to become a streamer?
Well, I guess other than what we've touched on, I would maybe go a little bit deeper into the whole aspect of just kind of being real and being yourself. And I'll share like a story. It was kind of like a revelation that I had while I was streaming. And this was like maybe about 6 months into streaming on Twitch, and I wasn't seeing like that much growth. Or I would, I would meet some people, but it would be difficult to, build community. And so I had a really bad day at work that day.
Oh,
It was I was streaming after work, and like I was telling my girlfriend, like my wife now, at that time, I was just telling her about it, and she's probably the only person that I would tell about like that day, what happened at work. I wouldn't bore strangers with that story, but for whatever reason, like I shared that story while I was streaming. I don't even really remember what I was streaming, but I was just talking about how like I went into work, and some of my coworkers had decided that they wanted to swap around some of the cubicles. And so my computer and all my personal items were just moved to the other side of the office without no notification or whatever. Not clearing it with me. They just decided to, unplug all my things and move it to the other end of the office. Right. And so I walk in, and then I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess I have to sit here now, and which is, it's not, I guess in some ways it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's just an office, and did I want to make like a big deal out of it? I don't know. It just felt very like passive, and it just kind of pissed me off. And that's just kind of like how I felt about work that day. And so I shared that in my stream, and I realized like people who maybe were just lurking, they chime in and they start talking about similar experiences in their work. And then I was supporting another friend of mine who's also a streamer, and he was carrying on like a bit of conversation about how something like that happened to him at his job. So, and I realized at that point that it was like, like people can watch you play a certain game and they can hear you talk about the game, but they're not really learning about you. Like they can hear anybody talk about a specific game. Like when you tell personal information, when you let people know like stories that are unique to you and they get to know you more, then they feel more a part of your community, and they start to understand who you are as a person. And so at that point I realized, okay, I can just tell random stories that come to the top of my head on stream, and it's my stream, whatever. So if nobody cares about those stories, whatever, at least I'm still talking about something. So I think that was my revelation when it comes down to like being real on stream, and like and just talking about things that maybe yeah, like I said, I wouldn't bore a stranger with that story, but hey, I mean, if someone's in my stream, if they like that story, fine. If they don't have any connection with that story, that's okay too. At least they're hearing it. You know what I'm saying? At least they're getting to know me a little bit more. So
yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah. Just so going back to your question, just being you and not being afraid to like talk about things that just come to your mind, like and saying and going into your skills as well, tapping into your skill set. Like I said, like I do sound, so a lot of my skills revolve around sound, and I help other Twitch streamers sometimes when they ask me about like mixers and what types of microphones to get and all that stuff, and how to adjust the levels on their sound on their streams, So building community and not being afraid to be you and talk about you. I think those are my biggest suggestions when it comes to encouraging people who want to know more about streaming.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. So yeah, a lot of it is being yourself, but also, adding a little bit of entertainment in there as well.
Sure.
Cool, man. Well, thank you for answering all those questions. I hope those weren't too difficult.
Oh, no.
We've been going for 2 hours now. I did want to talk about some other things, but I will save it for a next podcast that I have with you, because I think it's a little bit more. I think it's going to take another hour for us to talk about these things, but I'm not trying to make this a 3-hour podcast.
Sure.
So some housekeeping things on my end. If you would like to talk with us on Discord, you can look in the description of this video for our Discord link, where you can join our server and talk with us about everything from like anime to video games to movies. You can follow us on Twitter, Downtime at Downtime.Live. You can also go to our website, www.Downtime.Live. You can click on the contact form button to submit a question or comment that way. You can also send us an email the old-fashioned way, contact@Downtime.Live, and we'll read that comment or question on the podcast. You can leave us a comment wherever this podcast is hosted. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and we will also read that review on the podcast. Some fun updates I have. As of today, we are now on Google Podcasts, and as of 5 minutes ago, we are now on Spotify, which is super exciting. We've been trying to get on. Thank you. We've been trying to get on Spotify for a few years now, and now it finally happened. So that's exciting. And that's it for me. DJ B, where can people find you?
So you can obviously go to my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/DJ Bibinkahan. That's DJBIBINKAHAN. And also on Instagram, Twitter, and also I also am a co-host on the Bastos podcast, which is a podcast where we talk about people who are people of color who make waves in the entertainment industry. We had an interview with Joey Gia, comedian, Filipino-American comedian, and also the Asian-American R&B group Kai. But yeah, so you can check that out as well, the Bastos podcast, and yeah.
Links to all DJB stuff that you just talked about will also be in the description of wherever this podcast will be hosted. So you guys can click there. You don't have to remember what he just said. I was actually just testing you to see if you remembered the spelling. And you got it right, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah,
well,
man,
DJ,
thank you for the opportunity, bro. I really appreciate it.
No, I would love to have you back on the podcast if that's available to you.
Oh yeah, man. This has been great.
Awesome, dude. Well, thanks, DJB, for being on the podcast. This has been episode 144 of Downtime Podcast. Everyone, take care, stay safe, have a good